Hey, welcome everyone. This is Guy Gambit, the social tactician. Have we got a fun one for you today? We're going to talk about where's this relationship going? Or to say it another way, how to answer and survive women's seven deadliest questions. Imagine, if you will, you're laying in bed with the most beautiful woman you've ever been with. Kind of like a friend of mine was a few months back. It was late at night. He was with a girl that he'd been casually dating. And at the same time, he was probably dating one, two, or maybe even three other girls. So he thought things were kind of on cruise control. But tonight, they had the best sex they've ever had in their entire lives. He was shocked. Everything was perfect afterwards. She was laying her head on his chest, snuggling in. Life was good. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she said, "Hey, what are we?" Immediately, the perfect moment was shattered. His mind was spinning, his adrenaline was pumping. This moment is going to happen to you. It's happened to me. We've all been there, or we're eventually going to be there. So, the purpose of this video is to get you ready for when that moment happens. So, before we get into it, let's go over some things that you should definitely not do. So, this is what you shouldn't say. "I see my free trial period has expired." "Ugh, sheesh, I don't know." "Baby, you're so funny. Give me a kiss." "Is this just because I slept with your sister?" "Wait, have you been going through my phone?" Okay, so all of those are things you definitely should not say. We also want to make sure that we're both on the same sheet of music for what exactly are the seven deadliest questions. We just went over, hey, what are we? And of course, the title of this video is Where's This Relationship Going? But there's others. What is this? How would you describe our relationship? Are you ready to take things to the next level? Where do you see us in like 5 years? And one that's related, you love me, but are you in love with me? Of course, as you know, there's hundreds, perhaps thousands of other questions, but in my opinion, these are very reflective of the seven deadliest questions you're going to get asked. Okay, we've got seven deadly questions, and possibly hundreds of other ones, and then thousands of variations. It's all kind of really unmanageable, right? But we have a secret. The secret is no matter what question she asks, it's essentially all the same one question. What is the one question? Well, if she was trying to communicate explicitly with you and say exactly what she meant, then she would say something like, "I know exactly how we feel about each other, based on my womanly intuition of the time, attention, and the things you have said and done. Further, I know exactly what this relationship is or isn't, where I stand in it going forward, and I don't like it. So, I want to try and persuade or coerce you into moving our relationship towards where I feel it should go." Regardless of the exact wording that she uses for her question, there's a few implications and assumptions you need to know. She's been thinking about this for a while now, and she's timed it for this moment for maximum impact. And because of that, she's going to want a sincere answer. You can't just joke this away with a, "Oh, you're so crazy, baby," and try and change the topic. That's not going to work. Also, you need to understand this is not an informational discussion. You're not communicating explicitly. You're not going to list all the 100 reasons of why you want the relationship to be a certain way, and somehow that will convince her logical mind that you're right. That's not what this conversation is. This conversation is a persuasive discussion. She's trying to implicitly pull you the way that she wants the relationship to go, and you're trying to persuasively pull it back the other without being explicit. Essentially, you're trying to change her mood, not her mind. So, knowing the types of questions that she's going to ask and what her underlying motive is, now we can get into what you should do. Step one is immediately buy time and take frame control. Well, how do you do that? The best way is to say something like, hey, what happened? Where's this coming from? And put your hand on her and make strong eye contact. What this is doing is preventing you from just answering off the cuff. You're not just going to start hemming and hawing and giving a spontaneous answer because you've been ambushed. So don't just answer off the cuff. And you're taking frame control from her. When it starts, she's asking the question, hey, what are we? The one who's the questioner has frame control. The one who's answering the questions and trying to provide good answers is in the other person's frame. So you want to reframe it. You want to take frame control away from her and back to you. And you do this by getting her talking. It allows you time to think. So you're going to use this time that you've now bought yourself to decide what bucket is she in. This is step two. And you've bought yourself about 30 seconds to decide what you want out of this relationship. You're basically faced with three options. You either want things to stay the same in the relationship, you want to start seeing less of her, or you want to start seeing more of her. Those are your three options. If you're put on the spot and haven't thought about it at all, you've now bought yourself time. You have 30 seconds to figure out which bucket she's in. Ideally, you've been thinking about this gradually before as you spent time with her. You kind of know what you want out of this relationship and what you don't. Now that you've decided what bucket she falls into for the relationship, step three is you're going to actually give the response. Remember, when you're giving the response, you keep frame control. She should be in your frame, you're not in hers. Also, your response, no matter what it is going to be delivered in a patient, sincere, and warm way. If you can touch her, if you can hug her, if you can look in her eyes, this is not a logical debate that you're trying to win or even an argument. You're trying to change the way she feels, not the way she thinks. Okay, I'm going to spend the most time on when you want the relationship to stay the same, because this is the most difficult one for guys to answer. And remember, you want to buy time and reframe before anything else. And throughout your entire answer, we want to change her mood, not her mind. So the kind of things you would say are, I love that we can have this conversation. I didn't realize you were that into me. What this is doing is showing, wait, she didn't ambush you, she didn't take you by surprise, and you're not off put by it. You're basically also helping you take back frame control. And when you say that you didn't realize she was that into you, that means she likes you more than you like her. And as Rollo Tomasi has stated in his cardinal rule of relationships, the person that needs the other person the least is the one who's in control of the relationship. So you're already starting from a good place. One thing I know, overthinking can steal the passion. Let's live in the moment, but embrace whatever the future has for us. Okay, several things are going on here. One thing I know, immediately she's thinking, wait, how does he know these things about relationships? Did he learn this from other girls? Overthinking can steal the passion. Well, now you're implying that she's obviously the one doing overthinking and that's bad, and it's going to steal the passion, which is also bad, but that there's passion in the relationship and you want it to stay. Let's live in the moment. Oh, in her mind, that's a red flag. She can live in the moment, but she doesn't want you to live in the moment. You need to be thinking of the future and the future with her. If there's not a future with her, immediately it's going to hurt her attraction for you. But let's embrace whatever the future has for us. And here, now you're offsetting that red flag. You're doing a push pull. Embrace whatever the future has for us. You're implying that there's a future and it's for us. And at the end of that, you could even say, for us together. You give her a big hug or physical contact, what we would call kino. Now come on, I've been saving something special for you. And then you give her a passionate kiss, very differently than what you normally do. Kiss her in some different way. Okay, we got the hard one out of the way. Let's talk about if you're perfectly happy seeing less of her. Again, step one, still buy time and reframe. And again, treat it just the same. We're trying to change her mood, not her mind. And here's some possible responses. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I appreciate what we have and just want to keep it like this. Things are good. Let's not complicate them. All of those are going to implicitly tell her that you want to see less of her. She's going to feel it. Okay, but what if you want to see more of her? That should be very easy, right? But wait, you still do step one. You buy time and you reframe because you don't want to appear too anxious. It's fine for you to be head over heels in love with this woman, but she must never feel that you love her more than she loves you. If you do that, you're consciously trying to kill the attraction and the passion and the genuine desire that she has for you. So, you do step one just like any other response. Wow, I'm so glad you asked. I've been thinking about this too. I really think it's time we see how far we can go together. All I know is the deeper, the better. What were you thinking? Okay, what can we take away from all this? Well, first of all, know that you will be ambushed. She's going to ask one of the 7 deadliest questions at a time and in a place that you are least expecting it and least prepared for it. So you're already ahead of the game just knowing that it's coming. And immediately, no matter what that question is, we reframe it. We establish frame control. We do that by getting her talking, which buys us time. How do we do that? Hey, what happened? Where's this coming from? And ideally, you're going to physically touch her and make eye contact. Your answers being prepared are always better than off the cuff spontaneous answers. If you knew you were going to be attacked by a knife wielding assailant at some time next week, think of how prepared you would be, all the extra things you would do. You would start looking around, you would be more situationally aware. You might start carrying a knife yourself. You might start walking with friends everywhere you went. But you would prepare knowing that ambush is coming. So, the way to do that also is to know your relationship status and already have thought about it ahead of time. Do I want things to stay the same? Do I want to see her less? Or do I want to see more of her? Another thing that's hard for us guys to get in our mind is we're not trying to win an logical argument with her. This isn't explicit communication. There's no perfect answer to win it. This is implicit communication where winning is making her feel a certain way. Going back to frame, one thing we didn't talk about is that you should ask yourself, am I willing to lose her? If you're not willing to lose her, it's impossible to keep frame. You will be in her frame, and you don't want that. So no matter how much you love her, need her, she's your sun, moon, and stars, it's the zen, the balance of the relationship, that you must be willing to lose her in order to keep frame. Hopefully, after listening to this video, now you're going to be prepared for when that moment comes that you can deal with it like a social tactician. Good luck, get out there, and be social.